Hello, everyone, and welcome to the HackFS 2024 Build Guild and EF Workshop Fork This Hackathon Starter Kit. Joining us today is Austin Griffith, who will be taking us through this session. And with that, I'll pass it over to Austin to get the session started.
Yo, thank you. All right, let's just share my screen and get right into it. Let's go. Oh, I still have my Twitter up. I tweeted. Okay, follow along. Let's go. Okay, so Hackathon Stack. You are about to start HackFS, and I have a stack that you can fork that will make it way easier for you to get your app over the finish line. It's a quick. Uh-oh, there's a chat here. Let me watch this. Oh, okay. Watching the chat just in case. This is a quick way to build an app. We take care of a lot of things for you, and we'll get into that real quick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to scaffoldeth.io and I'm going to grab this npx create eth. So npx create eth is a command line that you can run that will install scaffold eth and eventually be a much more choose your own adventure. We're starting to add extensions to this and different templates. So what is this? HackFS starter example, something like that, right? Now, notice this, we've got a choice between hard hat or foundry. Depends on which one you like. You make the pick. Within Scaffold ETH, you're still just going to do a yarn compile, a yarn test, a yarn deploy, a yarn build, a yarn fork, and all of those commands, whether you're using hard hat or foundry, are going to work the same. So it's kind of your choice. You pick which tool you'd like to use. We support both. And speaking of supporting tools, this is built with Next.js, Rainbow Kit, WagMe, VM, TypeScript. So all of those latest state-of-the-art tools will be built into this, and we are constantly maintaining this. If you need a place to get started, go to Speedrun Ethereum. We just merged in WagMe V2. So our entire curriculum maintains this kind of state-of-the-art tech. And this is the kind of way to get through and learn how to build on Ethereum. But the first thing we want to do is just teach you how to get this starter kit up. And let's see, we've already done the first part. So let's just follow these instructions. It wants me to go in here. So I'm just going to open up a new window in CDN, but it wants me to do a yarn chain. And that's going to spin up our local blockchain. And then a yarn deploy is going to deploy our contract. So we're going to have a template contract that we'll go look at to our local network. And we can go look at that code in a second. And then the last thing it wanted us to run was a yarn start, which I will do in a new window here. So there we go. So we have our blockchain up. We have our dev server, our front end up here. And then we have a terminal here where we can just kind of, oops, we can just kind of yarn deploy all we want, right? And that will let us ship our app. And then let's get in and look at our smart contract. So it comes with this kind of basic smart contract that has a lot of like primitives and data types, primitive data types ready for you. There's mappings, there's events, there's a constructor. So the first step I want you to get into is just tinkering, okay? And once we have our front end up, we can see it at localhost 3000. If I go to that, we're going to see scaffold ETH, and that's where we want to start. Let me get my notes up here. There we go. Okay, here is Scaffold ETH, and there's docs for Scaffold ETH. You can go to docs.scaffoldeth. You can go to scaffoldeth.io to get it started, and this is going to be very helpful. A lot of good recipes in here, but this is what it looks like when you bring it up for the first time. You kind of have a familiar wallet here. We're on the Hard Hat network. You can see that we're connected with this address, but this debug contracts tab is really the sweet spot for getting started. This is going to give you an interface with your smart contract live. So as we make any changes to our smart contract over here, let's just go to the total counter for some reason. This total counter starts at 0. That's probably a good place to start, but let's start it at 69 instead. Okay, and then I'm going to yarn deploy. And then watch this over here. Watch this total counter. This will, yeah, there we go. So I'm basically making small changes. Let's put a new address in here and we'll just call it V. and we'll set it. Oh, wow. It just, whatever that is. I was going to make it Vitalik. I doubt that's Vitalik, but let's see what happens. So we just added a new address and we called it V, and we should see it over here. I bet it's not Vitalik's address. Nope. I don't know whose address that is. I'm not going to copy paste it though. But here's what we could do. We could do Vitalik.eth right here and look at that nice ENS resolution. So Scaffold ETH comes with a lot of good components built in, like this nice address input. And now I could copy that and paste it in here. Now we have V. For some reason, if we wanted to set Vitalik up as the owner or something like that, the goal here is for you to tinker with Solidity at first. You'll have this page, and then you'll have your smart contract over here, and you can add things to your Solidity, and then see them show up over here and make sure things work the way you think they will. So, for example, let's look into how this works. I think this is, so there's an owner, and we're not importing Open Zeppelin's ownable. We're rewriting our own ownership pattern here just to show you how it works. But of course, you'd probably want to just inherit an ownership pattern. But all of this is just scaffolding for you to get good at tinkering with your contract at first and then deploying eventually a hackathon project. So it looks like we have a set greeting, a classic greeter function, right? We can set a greeting. We can look at premium, and it looks like if there's value, so this is a payable, oops, this is a payable function. Oh, here we go. Yeah, this is a payable function that lets us send in money. And if we do send in money, it sets some premium flag. We see our total counter increase. We see the greeting get updated. Okay, so let's just go use this real quick. And so if I say hello world here, so this is going to fail. When I hit this, it's going to say, hey, you don't have any money. And you need to remember to go grab some money from the faucet. You can hit this little faucet button right here, and that will set you up with funds from the faucet. Now, when I hit send, there we go. The greeting gets updated, right? Okay, very cool. We got Vitalik here for some reason. Our counter starts at 69 for some reason, but this is working. And if I say hello world 2, it's working. Okay, so the first thing we should do is just tinker around with this and see how it works. I see that like there's a premium flag here, and I see that I can pass in money. But if I were to pass in money, let's go ahead and do that. Oh, we're going to see something new. ETH first way. When you first get into Ethereum, you need to learn how ETH first way works. Basically, humans like to see things as decimals, but the EVM is simple and it doesn't have floating point math. So you have to do this little button right here, boop, to take it from ETH to way. So this is the amount of way that will go in. And if we hit send, there we go. So we just paid 0.01 ETH and our premium flag flipped. And we can see now there's money that is in the smart contract, right? Okay, so our smart contract is accruing value. How do we get that money out of there? Ooh, there's a withdraw function, but it has that is owner modifier, right? So if we look at who the owner is now, it's getting set in the deployer. So let's jump over to the deploy script real quick. Yeah, okay. So what we need to do is set the owner. I'm gonna really lean into showing how burner wallets work here. Watch what happens when I open up an incognito window. If I go to localhost 3000, look at that, we get a different address. See that? There's kind of this purple and blue, and this is kind of like a red and blue and green. Let's do that one more time. Incognito, localhost, brand new account, kind of this teal homie here. So let's go ahead. Dan Nolan just did a great demo where he uses incognitos in dark mode, right? Let's put this in dark mode. So we have teal guy over here, and he grabs some money from the faucet. He can go use the contract and set the purpose, right? He can say, hey, right? And he can set that, and that works. And we'll see that over here too if we reload. Hey, he said, hey, right? This is a massive multiplayer game here, this smart contract. But let's set this dude as the owner. Let's set this teal guy as our owner when we deploy over here. And that gets passed in, right, to our smart contract in the constructor right here. So on deploy, this constructor gets called and we pass in our address and it sets the owner. Let's make sure that works. So we'll go yarn deploy again. See, we're just tinkering. We're making small changes. We're deploying and we're making sure we're testing our assumptions. So now the owner is this guy, right? And let's say, this purple dude puts in some money, 0.01 ETH. transfers it to way. There we go. So there's $298 locked up in our contract. And then we'll have incognito guy over here who is the owner. Can he hit withdraw? Ooh, let's do withdraw with this guy first. So it should fail because this guy isn't the owner. Let's see what happens. Yeah, not the owner. Okay. And then if we go over here and we say withdraw, watch the money. It should come out of here and it should go into our account. Okay. Oop. Let's see what happens. Ooh, there it is. Okay. The money is gone and it moved over here. So we were able to set a rule that only the owner can withdraw from the smart contract. So it kind of builds up funding like it's a vending machine. And then only the owner can get in here and withdraw money from that vending machine. And we kind of tested it. We tried it with this guy who isn't the owner. And then we tried it with this guy who is the owner. And just the owner is able to withdraw, right? And that's what you want to test. You want to build this stuff out. So this is kind of phase one. You sort of get your smart contract and you get your front end and you go to Solidity by example or the Solidity docs and you get in here and you just start learning things. You copy paste a mapping, right? Right. Let me just show that. You copy paste a mapping right into your smart contract to dink around with it and figure out how it works. And then you hit deploy, yarn deploy, and then that new mapping shows up here as an option, right? There's the my map, right? We can see the my map. We could put in some address and it's going to be 0, but we did it, right? We put in a map and we can tinker around with it. So this is phase one, tinkering with your app. Then once you get your smart contract working the way you want it to, let's say that we've worked on this for a little bit and we like the way it works, then you sort of move on to writing a little bit of a front end. And let me give you just a little preview of that too. So you'll kind of move out of your hard hat and into your Next.js. And this is where you'll find your app and then page. And this page is represented by this homepage. So we were over here in debug contracts. Now we're on this homepage and we're going to do some React work. Oh boy, are you excited? The hardest part about writing smart contract apps is digging around with the stinking React, but that's what we're going to dive into right now. Okay, so I'm just going to clean some stuff out of here. There's a lot of like boilerplate stuff that kind of shows you a few things, but that should clean it down to just that. Okay, we have just the connected address and welcome to Scaffold ETH2. Okay, and I maybe get rid of that. I don't know what this is. This is what is this? This is the HackFS demo build, right? Demo app. Okay, and it shows who is the connected address. Okay, now let's read from our smart contract, right? We're using a WAGME hook here, right? And you could go, you can go to WAGME and you can look any of this stuff up. If you want to do use account, Command K, use account. How does use account work in WAGME? You go right here and you see, oh, they're doing this account is use account, and then they're getting some stuff. Okay, cool. That's the same thing we're doing here, right? Kind of. I mean, we do that thing. Okay, so let's read from our smart contract. Just like we're doing over here when we're asking who is the owner, this is a read call to the smart contract. So let's do that in our front end. Okay, so to read from a smart contract, you will do a use scaffold read contract. Okay. And notice it brought it in from scaffold ETH. It's a hook that wraps around the WAGME hooks and does some extra stuff. But we'll go here and what are we going to read from? So I'm going to hit Control Space, and that gives me some really nice tab completion here. So we want to set the contract name to, look at that, it knows my contract already. And then we want the function name to be, watch this, when I open the quotes, it already knows all the functions from my smart contract. We're here in the front end and it's telling me, let's see, we want the owner from the smart contract. And then normally you'll put some args in there, but we don't need any args here. And what will come back here is this data, and we'll rename it to owner. Okay, so now when you land on this page, it goes out to our smart contract and it reads who the owner is and it keeps that saved in your state. And all we had to do is add a couple lines here. And now we have the owner in our front end. And let me prove that by just like pasting it in here. It's going to look really ugly. There we go. We should see a really ugly address show up. There we go. Okay, so that is the owner of the smart contract. Now, since that does look gross, let's clean it up a little bit. First of all, let's put it in like this, right? So owner address. This looks a little bit better. If I could spell owner. This looks a little bit better, but see, it's still this big, ugly address, right? What you'd like is that nice ENS component. Scaffold ETH has you covered. Check out this address component. We'll grab this address component and we'll put the owner's address in there. And now you have this nice, pretty owner address here, right? Awesome. Okay, so this is how you would go about reading from the smart contract. Now, eventually, we're going to want to write to the smart contract. Okay, so let's get that going. What I want to do is build. Yeah. Let's make an address input. Let's build just a little bit of UI, just enough for someone to be able to set the owner of the smart contract. So this will be a nice example of a front end that can read and write from a smart contract. And then if we have time, I'll try to get it deployed, but we'll see. It'll be close. So I'm going to say like set new owner, okay, and then I'm going to create an address input from scaffold ETH. I'm just gonna, let's see, the address will be new address, and then on change, right, will be set new address. Let's see. Okay, and then it's going to be unhappy about these two things because we don't have, I think this is actually just a V and a V. Let's see. We don't have that state set up, but watch this. Come on, ChatGPT. Nope. Let's see. Const. How do I do this? Yeah, there we go. There we go. New address. It looks like it's. Ooh-wee. Okay. So now we should be tracking that. Oh, this must not be. Is it value? Yep, I did something wrong there. Whew. Glad that thing yelled at me, huh? I would have been like, what is going on? Okay. So we created an address input and we're going to track some state, right? A string in the state. And then whenever this address changes, we're going to set the state. So all that does now is just give us this, right? And now if we type in vitalik.eth, we get this nice like preview. We get a nice input. Okay, we're getting close. Now what we need, I just want to make this look a little nicer. Now what we need is a button, right? To say like save or something like that. Let's see. Does this do what I want it to do? No, it's not doing what I want it to do. I don't no, not gonna mess with it. Let's just create a button. We got to get this thing shipped. We're creating a hackathon project. We don't have time to dilly-dally around here. Let's see. We're gonna, oh yeah, give me a button. Yeah. Oh, not implemented. I like it. Transfer ownership. Oh, let's make it class name. I think it needs to be BTN. Let's see. Oh yeah, that looks better. There we go. Wish it was centered. Let's see if this will center it. Yes, you'll spend more time centering a div than you than you do writing your Solidity. There we go. Okay, cool. So now we have an address input and a button that doesn't work yet, and a way to track the new address we want to set. So we need to, now it's time. We are ready to write to our smart contract. And reading from our smart contract was as simple as saying, hey, we want to read, we want this contract and this function and read it into this value, right? So a write is a little bit different. And this is newly changed in Scaffold ETH. I just learned about it this morning. But what you'll do is you'll use scaffold write contract. And this time you'll pass in just your contract as text. And this is a new change in WAGMI. And what you'll get back is this async write function, right? Oh, whoa. That wasn't what I wanted. Should be a write async. Yep, write contract async. And so I'm just going to call this your contract write. So now I have this your contract write that is from the use scaffold write hook. And if I now go down to my button, okay, so we want to take some action in here, right? Oh, look at that. Look at that. It already knows. Oh, what? It doesn't like transfer ownership. I think because we don't have a function yet. Oh no, we didn't build a function in our smart contract to set the owner, right? We really need to do that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, real quick. Function set new owner. Oh, it's just going to figure it out. Yeah. Oh, what? We don't want it to be public though. We want to say is, oh, we want it to be public, but we want only the owner to set it, right? And then we'll require that the message dot sender. And oh no, it doesn't like this because this is immutable. There we go. Okay. So yeah, very, very quickly here. I should have written that in already. Let's go test this function though. Let's do it here. So this guy is the owner. Oh no, I already destroyed that. Okay, so we're going to need this guy to be the owner. And we're going to need to redeploy our contract with this dude as the owner. All right. So now we should see us show up here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so now we're the owner. And now we should be able to go over to here and set Vitalik.eth as the owner. And let's see if this works. Okay, okay. So it works in debug mode. We probably should have done this earlier when I was over here debugging. Now let's pretend like our contract is solid. We move now over to this writing the front end phase, and we start tinkering with how to write the front end. And what we want to call is, what is it? Set new owner. It should actually tab complete, but maybe I need to deploy the contract first. Let's see. I'm not sure how to make tab completion work here. It's not transfer ownership though. What's the function called? It's called set new owner. I'm just going to copy. Let's give tab completion one more try. If I hit that, does it set new? No, it doesn't. I don't know. I'm missing something for that tab completion to work. We'll get that working, but that should be. Oh. This needs to be an object. That's what's going on here. This is an object where the function name, right? Now it's going to give me, there we go. Okay, I was doing it wrong. There we go. I shouldn't have trusted the AI, right? Oh, it still doesn't like this. Oh yeah, it's not called this. It's called, oh man, it's called set new owner. There we go. There we go. All of our tab completion is working. Everything's working. We're wired up. Okay, I think this is going to work. Let's go try it out. We have 5 minutes to deploy this thing. Let's see. So set new owner. Well, nope. Let's do it in our app. There we go. We'll go here right now. The owner. Oh, this isn't going to work. We need to redeploy. And watch this. You may run into this. Sometimes you need to do a dash reset, and that forces a new contract out there. There we go. Okay, so now the new contract is deployed. We're the owner. We want to set Vitalik.eth as the owner. We want to transfer ownership, and then we should see the owner update. Yes. Okay, our app is fully built now. A little quick, but you can see how this works, right? You bring up scaffold ETH. Phase one is just like edit your contract, tinker around, use Solidity by example. Phase two is building out your front end and getting it to work. Phase three is deploying, right? It's time to go live. So right now we're kind of talking to our own local network here. We are Yeah. We need to deploy to a live network. And so when we're talking to our own blockchain, it lets us do all this stuff for free because we have this account that can send, millions of ETH, right? I just like set myself like 10 grand by clicking that button, right? So once we go to a live network, we don't have this account that has all this money. So we need to yarn generate, and that's going to create a deployer account. Now, a lot of times you'll see people copy pasting private keys around. This is very bad practice. You want a single private key that is already get ignored, that is only going to hold just enough money to deploy our app live and no more. You can do a Yarn account to see it. And that's usually what I'll do, because what I like to do is use a Punk wallet to fund this. Okay, so I have a Punk wallet. Let's see, what network am I going to? It looks like I have some base. Let's just deploy to base. I've got $122 of base. Let's send in a few bucks here. Hopefully it's not much money. It should. The other day I deployed a contract to base and it was like 2 cents. So hopefully this isn't too much. But we should now have base. So if I do a yarn deploy, just like I was deploying my app earlier locally, but now we do dash dash network and we put in whatever network we want. You want to go to mainnet, put in mainnet, but we're going to try base and hopefully this works. We'll see. Please work first try. Yes. All right. Let's go see how much that costs. Let's go to base scan real quick. How much did it cost to deploy that contract? I've only got 3 minutes left. I need to do a lot more. 16 cents. That's not bad. That's not bad, y'all. 16 cents to deploy a smart contract. Okay, so our contract is deployed. We need to do one thing. We need to move I'm going to go to the scaffold config. This is like the main config file for scaffold ETH. What we have here is chains.hardhat. I just need to change that to base, right? And this one little change, I'm going to hit save here. This one little change, and actually I'm going to do a false here, but just ignore that because I want to keep the burner wallet in there. This one little change means that our app is now on base instead of being on hard hat. Everything is on base now. If I click this address, it's going to go to base scan now. So by changing this one target network thing, then the whole app moves over to base. And when I click debug contracts, here's the contract. It's live on base. This is what we've already deployed. Okay, so now we can use this and I could set the owner. If I hit go right now and I have some base, this is going to live on base like work, but we're still on localhost, right? We need to ship our app to a public URL, and I only have 2 minutes, so I probably won't get it done. But the way to do it is to do yarn vercel, and I'm going to YOLO prod because that means there's some things in here like I can tell like this right here. See how that's not fully lit up? It's kind of gray. That means it's not being used, and I should clean it out of my code. And I'm shipping some dirty code to production, but that's what we're going to do here. Yes. No. No, existing project. This is called HackFS demo. Yes, yes. Oh, and no. Okay, so that was it. So phase one, we tinkered around, right? We pulled down scaffold ETH. You can do either a clone or you can use this kind of choose your own adventure. That's going to have a lot more extensions and cool things, including Foundry. You can go to the docs and you can learn about it. But what you get is kind of this scaffold ETH debug page, and you can edit your smart contract and you can make changes and you can kind of see it live as it deploys. And Solidity by example is a great reference. You can get into Solidity by example and go learn about arrays and structs and function modifiers and all these different things, all these concepts you can just copy paste to the scaffold ETH and poke at them and see how they work. And you'll learn how those work. Then that second phase was getting into our app, right? We got into our Next.js app and we edited this page to write some React, basically reading from our smart contract and then writing to our smart contract. And that gave us this nice page here. Then we deployed our smart contract. Phase three, we went live. We deployed our smart contract to base and we set our app to point to base. And then we did this yarn vercel, which then pushes our app live, but we're still waiting for it to deploy. And I think I'm out of time for my half an hour. But I promise you, in about a minute, we will have a URL here that will be a live URL. And then anyone can go to that live URL and see the app that we've built and interact with our smart contract. And so this is why this is such a great hackathon stack. But just a reminder, you can deploy production apps. We are seeing people deploy production protocols that they were able to use Scaffold ETH to prototype quickly, but then they can also put a production app out there because it has a lot of the little things that a production app is going to need. Like if I'm connected with my MetaMask and I'm on the wrong network, it's going to give me a nice little button and move me over, and a lot of things that your production app will need. So I think that's the end of it. I don't know if Rory's going to kick me out of here. I think we're limited on time, but I don't know exactly like how hard the limits are. Here he is. What do you say? Do we need to jump?
You still got some time. You
Okay,
can wait till it
okay.
finishes. Yeah, yeah.
I think it did. I think it just finished there. Let's see. Where is it this? Yes, there is our app. Okay, so let me paste that into the chat. That probably won't go very far. But this app is live and you can go to this URL and you can connect your MetaMask, right? And you can actually make a full-on like transaction with your app with your MetaMask. Let's connect this bad boy. And let's see. Oh, it's like, hey, you're not on the right network. It switches us over to base. All right, this isn't going to work because I'm not the owner. But if I hit this button, oh yeah, not the owner. It's not going to work. But anyone can get in here and go to the app and interact with your live smart contract that's deployed to base. Even this debug is still around, but eventually you'll carve that out, right? The scaffolding is all up to help you get everything built, and then you can kind of carve it out when you're done. But I think that's it. We've deployed our app all the way live in those three phases of tinkering, building on our app, and then deploying. If there's any questions, like hit me up on Twitter. I'm at Austin Griffith. I'm this guy, right? This dude right here. DMs are open. Go to Speedrun Ethereum and get started. You will use this same tool, but you will build a bunch of apps, and it will teach you all the concepts of why you would build these things and what kinds of things work on Ethereum and what things don't. And that's it. Start with Scaffold ETH. I'll show BuidlGuidl just to show it. The BuidlGuidl is working on curriculum and tooling and giving out grants. You can find us in the ecosystem. All right. Thank you, Rory. You guys go build. Let's go hack. Let's hack FS. Let's go. I want to see tons of things get built. And like I said, it cost me 18 cents to deploy that contract on base. There's so many new things that you can actually put on chain now, and so many chains that are cheaper that go put new things on chain. This HackFS will kind of lean toward like, what if you did like a weird file system on chain or something? I don't know. What if you use IPFS in combination with that? So check it out. Thank you all very much. Any closure, Rory?
Yeah, well, I was just asked if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask now. Take yourself off mute or type in the chat.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, let's see. Any messages down here? Nicely done, and thank you. Thanks, y'all.
And if there aren't any questions, then yeah, thanks again, Austin, for another great workshop. And thank you everybody else for attending. So yeah, as Austin said, start getting ready to build. You still have some time before Hacking Act officially begins. Like the background. Took notes on how to give demo. Nice, awesome. Well, cool, awesome. Yeah, thanks everybody for attending, and we will see you all again tomorrow for some more sessions, and kickoff will be this Friday. So
Go
thanks.
build.
Have a great
Thanks for
rest of your
being
day.
here. See you.